historic value. I said, but come over, and we sat down and we wrote out, Lenny Grau will appreciate this as a lawyer, we wrote out a will of sorts that said that Elliot gets the gavel. Now, by the way, Elliot is 8. So I tried to figure this out. By the year 2030, he'll only be in his 30s like some of you. And so maybe, just maybe, he will be willing to trade in that gavel for a spot on this gavel. So what I'd like to do right now is to invite up Mr. McKelvey. And by the way, we ought to congratulate Ray and his lovely wife for getting a case, because for years this thing was just schlepped around in a paper sack. And this box is beautiful. In the second convention, one of the things that we did was we inducted a number of people into the Listing Hall of Fame. First time. Dr. Ralph Nichols, Dr. James I. Brown, Sam Duker, and Wesley Wicksell. And Dr. Wicksell was a man who enjoyed carpentry, and amongst other things, he had a hobby that he created gavels. And this gavel has very, very special significance. Some of you have heard this before, but I know that 40% of you here today have never heard this message. This gavel has the head made from wood, picked up in Egypt along the Nile River. The handle is made from an apple tree picked up on the University of Minnesota St. Paul campus, the longtime home of a center of teaching effective and research effective listening. There's a band on this gavel that runs to the year 2030. It has the names of all the past presidents, 26 of them, but it has room for, and Nan, you will enjoy this, room for presidents through the year 2030, so stick around. And so as we pass the gavel, understand that it represents the presidency of this organization, but more than that, it really represents the lineage of a field that dates back into antiquity. It represents all of the people who have the privilege and the pleasure to lead this organization, but more than that, it really represents all of the people who will follow all of us and represent this and lead this organization in the future. By the way, there's a second gavel that Wesley Wicksell made, and I'm privileged to have that gavel. It's a miniature gavel, and I have it in my office. It's a personal gavel that's made out of the same woods. And I have to tell all of you that have not heard this story because our 8-year-old grandson, last year's 7-year-old grandson, little Elliot, every time he comes to my office, he looks at all the memorabilia, and you can imagine there's a lot of ILA memorabilia in that office, and he goes through all of those things, and he has for years. And last year he picked up the gavel. He calls it the hammer. And he said, Papa, he said, when you die, can I have this? Well, of course, Elliot asks for a lot of things that he wants when I die, and I always tell him I'm not going soon, I hope. But I asked him to, I said, is that important to you?